Alright, welcome to this video where we're going to be shelving some boxes. Of course, I can't show you the output on this, but you should be able to see it on the ground. You should have, I think, 5 boxes, or squares, or rectangles, whatever you want to call them. You can see from my program, we have a floor, that's for sure. Yours, I think, is called ground, and then, of course, we got 5 boxes, or squares, for me. And what we're going to do is, after our setup right here, is we're going to place the squares or boxes on the canvas. Now, the way that I have this, because again, you can't see the program that I'm running, even though everything is there. For example, I believe my background is different than yours, but some of the rest of the stuff is pretty much the same, and that's okay too. Now, for me, I'm just going to start with we're going to call it square 1. And for this variable, which we don't actually have to define it as a variable up here, this is kind of a new way for us to see variables defined. You can see they only used one let command right here to define 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different variables. So we have 7 different variables right here, but we're focusing on just the 5 squares right there. So we got square 1. Now, since we're looking at the locations on the canvas, I'm going to start with the X position of square 1. And the X position of square 1 is, if you want it to be, again, now what you need to do is take your mouse and hover over the canvas, and then in the top right where you have your coordinates marked, and you can see in the draw function it's changing those coordinates every frame. And all you got to do is hover it a little bit above. For me, I'm going to put it in the top left platform. So, and what you'll do is you'll see an ordered pair, which for me, so again, let's put another note in here. Square 1 had a location of, mine was about 48 and 81 like this. Okay, so this is kind of like an XY coordinate plane, which we know and we've seen, but for me and for you coding this, we have to do this on 2 separate lines of code, which is why I have first the X coordinate that I found, and then after I put that on, and before you put it on, you should actually test that code, right? Run that code, make sure it works, make sure there's no errors. If there are, then you're going to want to fix any errors. But for me, this should work because now, and then now I can go and put in the Y coordinate, which again I'm showing there as the ordered pair 48, and the Y coordinate is 81. Now, of course, putting in this line of code means you should run it again and make sure that it works. If it doesn't work, if you have any errors, don't do any more code. Fix any errors that you have and then run the code. Then we can go to square 2, which again, for me, had the ordered pair of about 156, 81. Now, you may say, well, this 81y value is the same as square 1's y value. That's true. And that's because what you'll notice on your screen is that the first 2 platforms in the top left, I have the same height. So they are going to have the same y value. Now, there's a couple of ways we can do this, which I'll show you. Let's start with the X coordinate first. So for square 2, we have, dot X. I forgot my dot X there. We have the X value of 156. Now, again, you should run your program, which is a good idea. If it's running and working, then we can do the next line of code, which is going to be square 2 dot Y equals, and of course we can put 81 on this. Now, if by chance you wanted to take a different route, what we can use is the square 1y as well. So instead of doing 81 right there, which is a match, since they have the same height, what you can do is do square 1.y like this, and then it becomes kind of like a variable that we're using inside the code for square 2. Now, that's one way to do it. Again, you can check your code and make sure that it works. I can't show you that, but just for now, since we're getting used to this aspect of placing things on the canvas, I'm just going to keep it like this. So that's 2 squares. Now we'll go to square 3, which for me gave me the coordinates of 210, 175, like this. And then I've got square 3 dot x equals, whoops, space equals space. And again, my x value was 210. Now again, run your program, make sure that it works. Make sure that you don't have any errors in line 22 that I just put in, so that we can put in the next line of code, which is going to be square 3 dot y equals space 175. So again, run your code here, make sure that it works. If you have any errors, fix any errors before you put in any more code. Next up, we got square 4, which equals, again for me, this was 380 and 132. So, just like we've done before, and scroll down a little bit here, for square 4 dot x, space equals space, I have an x value of 380. Again, run your program, make sure that it works. Make sure that it has moved the x. Again, that should move it. It should move it to the right, I believe, but I forget. And then make sure it works. Okay, so then we can say square 4 dot y equals, again, I've already put the coordinate up there, the y coordinate of 132. So go and run that and make sure that it works. Now, if it does work, we're going to go into square 5. And square 5 had the ordered pair of 380 and let's see, 277-ish for me. And again, you'll probably notice that the 380 is matching the 380 from square 4 for the x. That's because if you look at to the right, the platform, the fourth and fifth platforms to the far right are directly above and below each other, so their x values are going to be exactly the same. Now you could do this like we did before. You could say, well, square 5 dot x is going to equal square 4 dot x, and that would work. But since today, like I said, we're just kind of getting used to this, let's just say that it's 380, and then square 5 dot y. Oh, I was putting in more code there, but remember, check your code to make sure it works. Before you put in this code right here, make sure that that last line of code that you put in there works. If it does work, then put in this line of code, which is going to be square 5 dot y equals 277 semicolon. And that's all the code that you really need for this to work. Once you do that, what it's going to do is just going to say, hey, thanks for your program, it's been submitted, and you're going to get the credit for it. Now, the rest of this code down here, you can see there's lots of stuff going on. There's lots of stuff that we don't know about, and that's okay too. We're going to go over a lot of this stuff later, but for now, this is all you got to be able to know how to do, is to place your any objects that you put on here, like squares 1, square 2, square 3, square 4, square 5. All you got to do is be able to put those on your canvas, and you'll be in good shape. So that's it for this assignment. Thank you for watching.